So yeah, I'm just coming to the first part. Why am I talking about Andhra Shore and why is it unique? So our shore, Andhra Shore, is about 1,000 kilometers in length, but hardly any research or conservation activities are being taken up here, though there is a lot of potential. We have third largest contingent mangrove forest in Andhra. We have seagrass meadows. We have a lot of intertidal ecosystems and much more here. But very less research or conservation activities are being done here. And the fishing potential and also overfishing is prevalent here with 555 fish landing centers, small and big together. That's a big number. So what are the few marine ecosystems we see here? As Shilpa has introduced before, I've started my work with mangroves, and the third largest contingent mangroves in India are Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary and nearby reserve forests. And this is one drone photo from there, where you can see a small mangrove island in the middle, and that fishing village has about 10,000 people living and depending on mangrove forest. So there are many such villages in those mangrove forests, and they are highly protected, and they have this endangered or vulnerable species called fishing cat, which resides there, which was the first species I worked on. Other than fishing cat, there are otters there and a lot of fish fauna as well. So and yeah, then the other ecosystem that we see here is seagrasses. And interestingly, uh, as Prachi was mentioning before, uh, and she is working on seagrasses. She helped me with finding seagrass meadows in Andhra Pradesh as well. So we found about 300 hectares of seagrass meadows in Godavari region of Andhra Pradesh, and we are still on the process of publishing the data. And we actually found two species of it, Halophila and Serengodium species, and this is one of the photos from there. Interestingly, from past 25 years, hardly any research or conservation efforts are being carried out on seagrasses in this region. So there's a lot of potential, and there are more places to be explored and mapped for seagrass presence. And once they are mapped, that's not the end of the question. We have to work on conserving them also, because already this 300 hectares is facing a threat. As you can see in this drone image, uh, the lagoon that you see on the back is the area where we found the seagrass meadows. It's a 1100 hectare lagoon in which 300 hectares is filled with seagrasses, or was filled with seagrasses, I should say. And this is a fragile ecosystem because with what do you call it? With every monsoon, the sand shifts in the shores. Along with it, here what happened is, as you can see, uh, the entry point of the lagoon, the channel that goes into the lagoon, is closed up in the last monsoon. And now the activity has stopped into the lagoon. So what happened is, because of the rains and different drains that end up into the lagoon, the salinity of the lagoon reduced drastically. And out of the two species that we found there, one species completely uh, was gone from the lagoon. Only one species is remaining, and that too is sparsely present and has reduced in size. So immediate conservation action is needed in this area. As you can see, the sand bar is formed for almost a few hundred meters, and it has to be removed. Not only the seagrasses have disappeared, but a lot of fisheries has disappeared in the lagoon, and three villages that depend on it are also suffering because of it. So immediate conservation action is required here, and we are trying for it, but it's going to be hard because a lot of stakeholders are involved when it comes to do an intervention like this, like opening the channel, because our seagrasses are quite resilient. So once the channel is open, they can come back. and we can conserve this area again. So this is one part of it. And then we have intertidal ecosystems. Tomorrow, I think Shonak is going to talk much deeply about the intertidal and tide pools and everything. But I'll tell whatever I can right now. So this is a picture of the intertidal ecosystem. For people who are new to the intertidal, let me explain a bit about it. We have tides every day. High tide is when the water comes forward much, and low tide is when it goes back. And the area between the high tide and low tide is the intertidal area. And here, when the water goes back, a lot of pools will be formed, as you can see in this photo. And here, you will see plethora of organisms which are adapted to live in the water and sometimes outside water as well whenever the tides go back. And they have adaptations to live in a place where waves hit them constantly, and they have many more adaptations. And this beautiful area is with the amount of biodiversity that we cannot think about. For example, our project called Intertidal Biodiversity of Andhra Pradesh has already recorded close to 500 species in the last 5 years using citizen science only in the intertidal. Just imagine the type of biodiversity we have there. And these are different zones of the intertidal, as you can see here. And depending on the zone, different species can be seen. And there have been some interesting findings in the intertidal area recently in Andhra Pradesh. For example, this is Fidiana unilineata that we saw on a nocturnal tide pooling session. And when we saw it and I photographed it, it looked similar to Fidiana militaris that we usually see. But I went and checked and took help of Vishal Bave, who is a expert on nudibranchs, and he directed me to a paper which is from 1864, I guess. Yeah, 1864, by Alder and Hancock. And that became a rediscovery of the species after 160 years almost. And interestingly, when I looked at the paper, not only this, there are actually 42 species that were recorded by Alder and Hancock. And interestingly, from Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, the same place I rediscovered. So why was it not seen in other places for so long? Uh, of course, Vishakhapatnam was not properly researched. That's why we didn't see it here. But what about other parts of the world? So there's something unique on the shore that might help in showing some endemism. That means species that can be seen only here. And yeah, this is not the only rediscovery. There are two more possible rediscoveries or discoveries that are happening here of the sea slugs. These are the organisms that are showed in the figure in the 1964 paper on the right. These are the photos that we recently took of the same organisms. That means in the same area, they are still thriving. So, yeah. And here is another interesting thing. Halder and Hancock also described about a species called Sclerodoris epiculata. At that time, it was Doris epiculata. But the image that you see in the middle, this is the organism that people are assuming as Sclerodoris epiculata. But seeing the description in the paper and the image reference, there is high chance that what we saw here on the right is actual Sclerodoris epiculata, and what people have been thinking as Sclerodoris epiculata is not. So there is a lot of redescription that has to happen. The work is in progress to actually tell about this, and there are a lot of discoveries and rediscoveries to be happened here actually. The same story with Atacama ociosa. The Atacama ociosa, the species which is thought to be Atacama ociosa in the middle, doesn't closely resemble the one described in Alder and Hancock, but closely resembles what we saw this year on the right. So there's a lot of potential, and a lot of potential to discoveries and rediscoveries here, because less research is being done here, one thing. And I think there is high possibility of endemism in the area, which has to be researched and confirmed later. So yeah, once we spoke about some of the intertidal organisms, let's get to some megafauna here as well. So not only the intertidal, uh, we have a lot of megafauna in Andhra as well. So right now, a lot of researchers are coming forward and working on megafauna here as well. When we started, not much work was being done, but later Imran Samad from IASC has collected some data on sharks and rays, and now I think Dakshin is also has also started their megafauna project in Andhra Pradesh, and so on and so forth. More people are coming forward for megafauna research. And this is one clipping of a whale shark that a fisherman saw and sent us from Vishakhapatnam shore.
Pranav, is there audio also in the video?
Yeah, it's nothing. It's just sound of the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 1 minute. Yeah. So these are some of the whale shark strandings. I wouldn't actually call them strandings because they are all accidental catches. Because unlike marine mammals, whale sharks don't strand. They are actually fishes. So they are accidentally caught by fishermen, and most of the time it happens through beach scenes. And only once they bring them quite close to the shore, they'll be able to see uh, what is in the net. It's too late for the whale shark already because it's a heavy animal, and a lot of time the fishermen are not able to push it back. It's a protected species, so some fishermen know that they are not supposed to catch it. And even if they ignore that part, another point is whale shark uh, meat does not go for high cost like other shark meats. And also it's in tons of weight. All of that cannot be sold as well. So it's a loss for fishermen as well, because while trying to pull the heavy animal, their net also gets torn. So they are also facing some losses because of that as well. So here are some of the uh, uh, I mean, so what, I don't call them strandings, but I would call them accidental catches. The green parts are the ones that were successfully sent back alive, and the red ones are dead after being after bringing ashore. And the yellow one is unknown if they are dead or alive. We just have the information, but nothing more about that. So whale sharks also is something that we can look into. As you saw in the previous video, the waters are quite blue. So in Vishakhapatnam or in some parts of Andhra Pradesh, in winter the water visibility is also pretty good, in which research through diving and also snorkeling can be done. Unlike other parts where it's always turbid, like Shonak was previously mentioning to me that Mumbai shores are always turbid, and we were lucky to have clear water sometimes of the year at least. So yeah, we have whale sharks here as well that need immediate attention, and marine mammal strandings. So we have collected information on marine mammal stranding with the help of Marine Mammal Research and Conservation Network and Dipani Sutaria. And we have been collecting information on strandings, and also we are responding to it most of the time. And we have recorded about 13 species of dolphins and whales in Vishakhapatnam area. And another interesting thing here is, as you can see, a Bridis well here. Uh, Once I collected the morphometric data of this Bridis whale, it turned out that the throat grooves that it has, the number of throat grooves, is quite different from what you usually see in a Bridis whale. And then when I asked the experts like Dipani, she suggested that there was a theory that there is a Bridis whale species or population that is distinctive in the Bay of Bengal and from the other Bridis whales that are elsewhere. So this could be one of the specimen that is distinctive and needs more research to know if it is a different subspecies or just a population that diverged and is not sharing any genetic material with other populations. Much more research to be done on the marine mammals front as well. And yeah, Visakhapatnam and Andhra Pradesh in general are big, nesting grounds for olive ridleys. But we don't just have olive ridleys. We have them for nesting, but there are three more species that we usually see that don't nest here. Green sea turtle is commonly bycatch in some of the nets, and interestingly, we usually see sub-adults of green sea turtles and not adults. I don't know the exact reason for it. Even we saw some juvenile hawksbill turtles in Andhra Pradesh near East Godavari, and some dead strandings of leatherbacks as well. And we have about four species of sea turtles here as well. Yeah. So this is some of the fauna that we see here, and Andhra Pradesh does have potential, but what it's lacking is research institutes that support and that actually do research here. So far, Amit has done research on uh, electric race here, Shruti, Amit, and team. And Imran has worked on sharks and race, and few more people are coming forward. But more people should come forward and work in Andhra. It has a lot of potential, and we ECCT is ready to help anyone who's planning to work here. Yeah. Thank you. This is something I want to put forward as Andhra has potential and no one is actually looking at it. As simple as that. I didn't want to make it complicated with scientific terms and etc. etc. As it has to be understood by a layman as well. Yeah. Thank you. If you have any questions, please throw them.